Summer is heating up and Broadway is getting busy
as NASCAR races into Nashville.
A win here at Nashville for Ross Chastain puts him in the playoffs.
Heck yeah, guys. Oh, thank you so much.
Hey race fans, welcome to Around the Track. I'm Kim Coon alongside Ryan Flores, and luckily we have both dried out after a very wet New Hampshire Motor Speedway weekend.
Yeah, 6.5 hours is a long time for a cup race. There's a lot of adversity. It looked like we had a shot to win, but
I know.
We got spun out late. Great weekend in New Hampshire, though. Justin Bonsignore, he won the modified race, had a great run in the Xfinity race, and we all called it. Christopher Bell, he took the dub in both the Xfinity race and the Cup race on Sunday.
See Bell with the sweep. Not only that, he dropped a hint about some news. I don't even know if you would call it a hint.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of speculation, but he got to even do the press conference this week where he announced that Chase Briscoe, he finished the job per se. So Chase Briscoe going to be in that 19 car. We had him on Stacking Pennies this week. Make sure you tune in. He just brings us through the whole contract negotiation process and really gave us a deep dive.
And we got to see the wet weather tires in action. I think a lot of drivers got way more confidence in those wet weather tires than they had before, but we won't see those this weekend as we head to Nashville Superspeedway. A little too big to see wet weather tires, although there is a little rain in the forecast.
Yeah, there's always a little rain in the forecast in these summer months. Hopefully it stays dry there, but hey, a lot of other racing going on around the country this weekend. As we take a look, we got the ARCA cars in action at Berlin. The Virginia Triple Crown fires up. With the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 at South Boston. Such an exciting event to get that three-race circuit going.
Yeah, we're going to dive a little deeper into the Virginia Triple Crown later in the show, but got to give a shout out to Carson Kvapil. His third top 5 finish in the Xfinity Series. 3 of his 4 starts, he has had top 5. So showing so much potential, and we're not done seeing him racing in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, with the short track guys have been showing out this year between Carson Kvapil, Butterbean Queen, Justin Bonsignore, as we talked about, Bubba Pollard of the year at Richmond. So it's been an exciting year for short track crossovers, and you can tune in on your Flow app to see a full slate of everything going on this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see Carson back in action this weekend at Nashville. In fact, all 3 of the NASCAR National Series are headed to Nashville Superspeedway. So let's take a look back at all the action from 2023.
Getting a win on an oval here in Nashville, oh so sweet.
2 laps to go for Carson Hocevar.
Can they make it back one more time?
So much momentum lately, delivering at every level. His confidence is up.
But it's Allmendinger who has dominated here late. Out of turn 4, grabbing his 17th career win. Allmendinger wins at Nashville. Ross Chastain trying to close it out. He's led the most laps today at 97. A win here at Nashville for Ross Chastain puts him in the playoffs.
So damn proud of this track house crew. This pit crew, this road crew, damn, you're awesome.
As we mentioned, all 3 series in action this weekend. Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. We start talking about the Truck Series. Clint Boyer in a Spire truck out of the booth and back in the seat. What are you excited to see this weekend?
I'm just excited to see all the action from Nashville because the Xfinity Series field, it is stacked. There are so many Cup interlopers and even some truck interlopers in there. But you got Ty Gibbs, John Hunter Nemechek, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, Noah Gragson, but Tyler Reddick, I cannot wait to see him in that Sam Hunt racing car.
That 26 car has been super fast, and Sam Hunt's a good buddy. I am excited for them to finally punch their ticket to victory lane. This whole top 5, finishing 3rd, finishing 2nd. I'm over that. I'm ready to see them win. And a guy that's been running up front in that car, Corey Heim, he gets a shot at that 2311 number 50 in the Cup Series. So I'm excited to see what he can do. He's been so fast in his truck, in the Xfinity car, and he gets to start paving his path to the Cup Series.
We mentioned Corey Heim in the Cup car, but when you talk about what he's able to do in the Xfinity Series car, he tied Sam Hunt Racing's best finish as an organization, 3rd a couple weeks ago. But to have Tyler Reddick in that car, this team is looking at possibly their first Xfinity Series win.
Yeah, and I look at what Tyler Reddick was able to do when he was at RCR with that Big Machine Records 48. He got them their first win, so hopefully he can do that same thing for my buddy Sam.
Yeah, well, all 3 of the series have their hands full this weekend. A lot of challenges when it comes to Nashville Superspeedway.
Nashville is its own beast. It's, concrete, but kind of a 1.5 mile type feel and setup. Lays tons of rubber down. Into turn 3 is one of the flattest and fastest feeling entries that we have.
You have to be on the edge all the time because of the concrete. You're always jumping on top of the racetrack. And in the race, you have to move around a lot because you lay down a lot of rubber.
And Nashville is a weird place. Like just the track itself, the front straightaways are really odd. Like exit turn 4 is really, really tight. The banking is kind of weird. The racing is always tough. I feel like the track, it like kind of widens out, but then at the same time, it's pretty still bottom dominant. So it's just a different racetrack. And anywhere we go, there's nothing that compares to Nashville.
As we look at the Cup schedule this weekend at Nashville, 20 minutes of practice followed by qualifying. The Cup race Sunday at 3:30. I love racetracks that we only go to once.
So do I. Lots of challenges for drivers this weekend. You heard them allude to how slick the track is going to be. Those drivers, they're going to be on edge. They describe qualifying at Nashville as super sketchy. In the last few years, we've seen drivers spin out both in practice and qualifying. And that can really mess up the weekend for you.
The concrete, it's a mile and a half with a touch of Dover, and that you have to drive so hard on the concrete, and since you commit so hard, if you hit the rubber that builds up at the wrong time, if it's too slick, your car just takes off. So we'll see who can handle it this weekend.
Yeah, before we dive any deeper into Nashville Superspeedway, let's take a closer look at the Virginia Triple Crown.
From last to first, Denny Hamlin wins.
Oh my, what a race! But the late model division is really big in the Mid-Atlantic, but really in Virginia, they've added a new Triple Crown, which I love to see. It really forces drivers and teams to be able to adapt to different racetracks and not just be good at their one home track. I tune in, I check out and see who's in contention. Can't wait to see who wins the Triple Crown this year.
As we look at the 3 races that make up the Virginia Triple Crown, South Boston Speedway, the Hampton Heat at Langley Speedway, and Martinsville Speedway in September, what stands out to you?
Well, just how different each of these 3 racetracks are. South Boston, a very fast track with wide corners. Langley, flat, no grip. And then Martinsville, it's got some grip, but long straightaways. So it really showcases all of the abilities of the drivers across the Southeast. These aren't just Virginia drivers. You know, we see drivers from Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and just showcasing how good these late model stock drivers are. And
a ton of big names have come out of Virginia. Speaking of big names, Dale Jr. is going to be running the Hampton Heat, the next leg of the Triple Crown. And hey, I almost won the Martinsville late model race with Brandon McReynolds back in the day. It's always a super close race. Last year was no different. It came right down to the wire. Just like some of the Cup races this year, we've seen some of the closest races in NASCAR history. See if we see one again this weekend in Nashville.
3 wide for the lead here in Atlanta, coming back to the start-finish line.
Unbelievable 3 wide finish. Have you ever seen anything like that?
99, victory lane. Ah!
Scoring has the margin between the first 3 cars at 0.00 seconds.
How awesome was that?
Go!
Chris Buescher gives him room. We're going to drag race to the start-finish line. Here comes Truex. They bang sideways at the line. Photo finish.
Do we get it? Do we get it? I don't know.
It is so close.
That was incredible.
We won. They just said the 5 was 1. Are you Go!
Oh it's that close. It's Larson.
Holy cow.
What a finish, boys.
Seriously, 0.0000.
Well, if we're going to see a photo finish this weekend at Nashville Superspeedway, the drivers are going to have to overcome a lot because this is a very hard track to get a feel for. Like we mentioned earlier, it's very slick, but it's hard to know if you're making a fast lap or a slow lap. So many drivers say, I either underdrive or I overdrive at Nashville.
Yeah, it's somewhere that the race just changes, it progresses, and not even from day to night or the longer you run. When the caution comes out, when cars start lifting, it peels that rubber right up, so you have to be constantly adjusting your car. The guys with the most mechanical grip usually make out the best. Last year we saw an intense race with the 11 team had a tough pit stop, took them out. The 1 team was leading the 19. Martin Truex was chasing him down. He burnt his tires up, and the 1 car got a hometown win for Justin Marks. This is a place that I have circled. Last big pit stop race before the break. So you can really control what you can control with a strong team this weekend. We got guys like Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and Bubba Wallace right there on that cut line. So we'll see what happens.
One thing they can't control is the weather. It's going to be mid to high 90s this weekend. And I know in past years at Nashville, you see the drivers get out of the cars and they are just exhausted. They're having to get IVs, go to the care center, put ice packs on. And it's the same for the crews. You guys are just sitting down there in the heat, kind of baking.
Yeah, it's a grind for everybody here in Nashville. Like you said, you go to tennis, the Southeast in the summer, July and June and July, it's really challenging to get through those races, not just for the drivers, but for the crews. It's hard to stay focused, but if you want the big payday, you're going to have to be there at the end.
All right, speaking of big paydays, we're going to check in with Erica to see what her best bets are for the weekend and win you some easy money.
I'm Steve Letarte. Join myself and Todd Gordon each week on NASCAR Inside the Race, presented by Consumer Cellular.
We will break down exactly how the race was won, plus we'll dive into the data and go in depth on penalties, race strategies, point standings, and rules changes.
And we have all kinds of fun tools to show off to provide all the minute details. Catch NASCAR Inside the Race each Tuesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
It's time now to set you up for the best bets of the weekend, so we'll welcome in our resident sports betting analyst, Erica. And I got to tell you, good job last week. It feels like we are back on track.
We're going to call last week, Kim, our Get Right week because we had 5 of our best bets to hit. Christopher Bell, we're just going to start calling him C-Money because he had 3 that cashed in for us. Of course, Tyler Reddick finished in the top 10. That also cashed in. And then we had one of my bonus bets toward the end of the week to hit as well. The one that I was really cheering for, though, Kim, was Ryan Priest to finish in the top 10 at plus 600. We were so close. So close.
So
Almost.
close, but he did have a great rebound after the weather delay. But as we head to Nashville Superspeedway this weekend, you know, the Cup Series has not raced there a ton, only 3 Cup Series races, and it has been Chevy dominance. So as we look at a winning manufacturer bet this weekend, is it as easy as just putting our money on Chevrolet?
Well, you would think it would be, but I actually am going to lean toward Toyota as a winning manufacturer at plus 135. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
I'm taking Dover and Bristol as my comps. And that is because, Kim, we know that Dover and Bristol, like Nashville, are concrete tracks. And then this year's races, this season, Denny Hamlin, who drives a Toyota, has won both concrete tracks. Now at Bristol, MTJ also drives a Toyota, finished second. At Dover, Denny Hamlin won. Larson in his Chevy finished second, but MTJ finished third in his Toyota. So that for me is enough reason to back Toyota in this spot. However, full transparency, toward the end of the week, I might throw a little bit of money on Chevy as well. But for these purposes today, best bet, Toyota plus 135, winning manufacturer.
Those are some good notes. And actually, if you look at last year's race, ultimate winner Ross Chastain was being chased down by 2 Toyota drivers last year, MTJ and Denny Hamlin. So I think I like that Toyota pick. But as we talk Toyota drivers, we've got a head-to-head bet that puts 2 Toyota drivers up against each other.
So I'm looking at the head-to-head between Tyler Reddick and MTJ. Tyler Reddick is at plus 110 and MTJ is at minus 130. I'm going to go toward the plus money and take Tyler Reddick to finish ahead of Martin Truex Jr. Now, if you look at the betting perspective, the trends, MTJ runs better at this track than Tyler Reddick. However, the way Martin Truex Jr. has been running since he announced his retirement from full-time driving, like, Kim, is he out to lunch or is it his pit crew? Like, I don't know what the deal is with him. But I cannot in good faith, based on how he's been running recently, back him at minus 130. Give me Tyler Reddick to finish ahead of MTJ at plus 110 all day.
And we got word that he's got some pit crew changes happening this weekend, so they might have some stuff to sort out. So Tyler Reddick might be the safer of that head-to-head bet. But let's broaden it and look at a group bet.
Kim, this group bet has been stressing me out, but here's what I'm going to go with, and I want to hear what you have to say too.
Okay.
Now, in this group, we got Denny Hamlin at plus 220. You have MTJ, and you also have Byron. I'm going to go Blaney here at plus 285. First of all, I like the longer odds. Second of all, I think he has the hotter hand right now. Now, again, I was leaning more towards Denny, but I think Denny was hotter in the beginning of the season. And now, not that he's trending downward, but I think Blaney is trending more upward at this point than Denny. And again, the longer odds makes me a little bit more comfortable here. How about you?
I got to agree with you. You know, Jonathan Hassler, the crew chief for the 12 team, had told me their goal was to be the team of the summer, and we have seen them be so strong, starting with the summer races. You look at Gateway, although he did run out of gas. He was leading that race in the end, so strong there. He had a 7th place finish at Sonoma. He won Iowa, and then last weekend, running second for most of the race. Until that contact with Michael McDowell, he would have had a very solid finish. So I think Blaney is a great choice for this weekend.
Okay, so we're seeing eye to eye there. So let's hope we are right this week, like we were all right last week on the outright winners pick.
All right, speaking of outright winners, let's see your outright winner picks for Nashville.
Okay, so here are the 3 outright winners odds that I like. I like Larson, I like Hamlin, and then I like Chase Elliott. As we know, Chevy has won 3 of the Cup Series races that we've had here. And I think that this could be another spot where we can see Larson continue to quote unquote get right. Those aren't the longest odds, but I think he's a safe bet. You know, whether it's a outright top 3, top 5, top 10, you can usually bet on Larson to pocket you some cash. Then Hamlin, I always say he's a devil that we know. Some people might just call him the devil in general, but sports betting is about backing an athlete, backing a driver who's going to make you money consistently. And that typically is Denny for us. Now, again, you might not want to back him in an outright spot, but for the the best value for this weekend, plus 600 is a good spot to back Denny Hamlin. And then finally, plus 800 is very enticing to me for Chase Elliott, mostly because he's won this track before. And then when it comes back to my concrete track, he has himself 2 wins at Dover as well. So Chase Elliott plus 800, a $10 bet there would win us a total of $90 if he ends up getting into victory lane. And I can't lie, Kim, this is also more of a gut feeling. I know you're not supposed to bet with your gut, but my gut plus the longer odds on Chase Elliott make me feel like this is a really good spot for Nashville.
Great stuff, Erica, and I cannot wait to see what bets you have for us next week as the NASCAR Cup Series takes on the streets of Chicago. And don't forget, Erica has her bonus bets later in the week, so stay tuned to her social media. And after the break, we have all the fun for the fans that are headed to Music City, everything you can take in if you're going to Nashville Superspeedway.
Hey race fans, Corey the Joy here. Join Ryan Flores and myself for Stacking Pennies each week. I'll break down my race and explain what happened right out of my windshield.
Plus, we award the Dogs of the Week for the best pit crews and go in-depth on all the money stops, pit road mistakes, and penalties.
And we've got a ton of guests. We have SVG stopping by. We had Ricky Stenhouse after he punched Kyle Busch in the face. We've had Bubba. We've had all sorts of guys in here in the Nonsense Garage, so you do not want to miss it. Check us out on Sirius XM Channel 90, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts. Each and every week, Stacking Pennies. That's what's up.
Well, if you are headed to Music City this weekend, lots to take in as a race fan, not just at Nashville Superspeedway, but the Nashville Fairgrounds. That night on Thursday, there's going to be some racing there, and you might see some Cup Series drivers.
Yeah, late models and street stocks. Will Byron and Josh Berry will be in competition in the late models. It's always a great place to go. And if you're just going to the Cup track on Sunday, they'll have Trackside Live back in the fan zone. Pre-race concert by none other than Tim Duggar.
Love it.
And if you want to see everything that's going on, you can go to NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to see a full list of all this weekend's activities.
And up next, we're setting your fantasy lineups for Nashville.
So who is your best value pick for your fantasy league?
I've got my guy.
Yeah, we took a gamble this weekend.
Luck or the lack thereof. It's a big factor here today.
Listen to me out there, gamblers. That's big, baby.
Well, Kim, we all crushed it last week. We all picked the same guy, the Loud and Whisperer. Who do you have as your must-have this week?
Well, easy pick for me, Ross Chastain. He's one of 2 drivers to finish in the top 5 in all 3 Nashville races. Trackhouse has a presence in Nashville, so I think there's some good mojo there. And then we talked about the heat, how hot it's going to be. He's a Florida boy, so I feel like he's just got it in his blood to be able to withstand all of the challenges when it is 90 degrees or above.
He is definitely Florida man, but I am going with a boy from Georgia.
Okay.
Chase Elliott. These guys have been so fast this year, and only one finish, and that was last week outside of the top 20. He's, fighting for that points lead, that regular season win. I'm going to lean on Chevy dominance here at Nashville, so I'm excited to see what that 9 bunch can do this weekend.
Okay, so we have our must-haves. What about a Hail Mary?
I'm going to throw a Hail Mary here, and I'm going to go with Corey Heim.
Okay.
He's in that 2311 car. He's kind of racing for, it's kind of an audition for if the 2311 gets their 3rd charter.
Sure.
And not only has he been fast in that Scotty Zip prepared truck, he's been fast in the Sam Hunt Xfinity car, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the Cup race.
Time in the Cup Series this weekend.
Who's yours?
Well, my Hail Mary pick is a pretty obvious one. If we think about the Cup Series field and who needs a Hail Mary, it is absolutely Kyle Busch. Their run of summer races has been dismal so far. I know he's frustrated, but he can pull it off. He's got 2 wins in the Truck Series at Nashville, 2 wins in the Xfinity Series. He's trying to break a 39 race winless streak in the Cup Series. And so I think he's the obvious pick when we come to Hail Marys.
Yeah, he's going to have to turn it around at some point in time. Randall Burnett and those boys over there will get it figured out. But it sounds like I might need a Hail Mary because you've got some nuggets for me, a little trivia on the white flag here.
I do. Well, since we are going to Music City and Nashville is kind of the center of country music, I thought we needed like a country music / NASCAR hybrid trivia question for our white flag.
Okay.
Are you a big country music fan?
I mean,
you're a music fan.
Yeah, just like everything.
Okay. Well, in 1975, NASCAR Goes Country was released. It's a country music cover album featuring lead vocals by 6 NASCAR Hall of Famers.
Okay.
So I just need you to name at least 3.
Okay, so we've got Richard Petty.
1.
Cale Yarborough.
2.
And Neil Bonnet.
No.
Neil Bonnet wasn't on there?
No, I'll give you a 3rd guess.
Okay, David Pearson?
Yes.
Let's go.
You needed 3. There were 6. The other 3, Bobby Allison, Buddy Baker, and DW, Darrell Waltrip.
Yep. Oh, man. You know he liked to talk.
I
Old
know.
Jaws.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm excited for? I'm excited for some pizza next week because we are going to the streets of Chicago.
Well, I'm excited for the Chicago hot dogs. I want a Chicago dog.
I hear you. I'm excited for the racing.
Yeah.
More than anything. The food scene is great, but the racing is going to be awesome. We're hoping for a dry Chicago next week, so join us back here at Around the Track to hear all about it.